All right, welcome guys, week 4. It is the end. Dun, dun, dun. And I don't usually go away. I'm usually here. I'm not going to be teaching for the next few months just because I'm going to be teaching a lot on campus for my other schools, but I'm still around and I still check my emails. So you guys can still connect with me. Just so know that I'm still around and still here. I'm just shifted. I'm shifted a little. And then I'm back in January again to teach on campus or online. So I'll take a little break. But you guys will be 4 mods down the road by the time I'm back on here again. So hopefully you're having a good time and learning lots of good stuff. I think the next one you learn is like more about the programs, like more about Illustrator and Photoshop. So, and it may be InDesign too. Delandria and I were talking about it and was like, see, this doesn't look too difficult, right? This doesn't look too bad. And you guys, the other thing that you can do is you're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I will usually accept students for sure on my LinkedIn pages. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's a good place. And then you guys always have connection with me as well. Okay.
So, I can't get my LinkedIn to work.
You can't get LinkedIn to work? I mean, you're talking about the one in the class, you mean?
Yeah, when I try to connect, it tells me that I don't have security access or something.
I just talked to Sean about that. I mentioned that was an issue. Now, when you're going in and getting it, are you going through here where you do the readings and videos?
Yes.
And then you click right here on the LinkedIn Learning thing?
Yes.
And then you access the playlist down here?
Yes.
And it's still telling you that you need to do a password?
Well, it tells me when I go in to do that, it tells me that I don't have access to it.
Okay, so I'll send another message to Sean.
Canvas and stuff, but when I click, like when I log in through Canvas, then it says that I don't have access.
Okay, I told Sean that people were having issues, and they said click through here, and I'm like, they did. I said I walked Delandria, that was you I was walking through that with, right? So I think we walked through it, yeah. And we walked through it and clicked on the link, and so this is what should come up. I'll show you what should come up, is that you guys will have these videos like this. So that's what should show up. So ultimately we'll get you guys access. I'll just let Sean know after we're done. Remind me at the end of the call that at the end of the end of the class that I need to send that, or just pop me an email.
Okay.
And then I'll remember. If you pop me an email, I'll for sure remember, because I can just forward the email. Okay, so are you guys ready for some more fun?
Yes.
Has this been fun for you guys, like playing with the programs?
Oh yeah.
Isn't this like the best? I mean, it's like adult coloring, I swear. I'm gonna do some fun stuff with you guys today. Oh yeah, the laundry's like, yes! That was a yell in all caps there. So we'll do a lot of more fun stuff today, and I'm gonna see if I can give you some more tools that you guys can play with, because we do have some assignments today that are gonna be connecting us with both Illustrator and Photoshop again. So the truth is that a lot of the times that you guys are interacting with the programs, that you're going to be using quite a few of them at the same time. Oh, Delandria, you're back. Yay. And then if you guys need to reach me, this is how you can reach me.
Until we can go on campus.
Delandria, I'm going to go ahead and mute you just real quick, huh, okay? Just make sure you unmute yourself okay, thanks. And you can unmute yourself if you need to talk. Okay, so we're going to be talking about, again, the same things that we've been talking about. We're going to be talking about the discussion. So there's 2 discussions. There's an assignment, there's an assessment, there's the live quiz, and there's also a career integration. So that's a good way to get 15 points. The only thing I'm really looking for is if you guys can be specific. Like if you say, hey, this is a video that I really liked, you know, when you're talking about the videos, maybe give me a specific video. Or if there's an assignment, and say, I really love this particular assignment, this is why I liked it. That's more powerful than just saying, I got information from the live lectures and it was good, you know. So if you guys can say, I really found this particular piece interesting, or when I was doing the readings, this is the one I found most interesting. Okay, I was coming here to show you guys something. What was it? There's something having to do with this. Oh. Nope, don't remember what it was. It'll come back to me in a second. Yeah, so you do have this career integration piece right here. And it does ask you to make sure your answers are at least 50 words. And I just pop it into Word. And if you guys look at Word down here at the bottom, I'm not really counting your words when I say it's not this number of words. I'm actually just looking down here at the bottom of the page. And if you highlight what you want it to calculate, right down here, it tells you how many words are in it. So it's really, I'm not really anal counting your words. It really is about the fact that it's easier for me to do. And I'll come back to whatever it is I was going to talk to you guys about with that. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about document setup. Hopefully you guys will get a little bit more comfortable working with Illustrator and Photoshop today. Again, these are great programs. They're going to be your go-to programs. You're going to use them over and over again. And the fact that we're integrating them today is really going to just be helpful to you. I'm going to show you a little bit about how, when you're dealing with some of the files, it actually tells us in the instructions to copy and paste. But I'm going to accept it if someone copies and pastes, but I'm going to show you why it's really valuable to leave a file in its native format and pull that file over. All right, so we're going to talk about the flows as part of the discussion, and then also just the design process. So these are parts of the discussion. We're going to do some work with the digital software to complete 2 different tasks. So the assignment and the assessment. And then you're going to create a composition layout. So you guys actually have already done this. What we're going to do is you guys are going to be doing a business card. So you're going to be pulling information together. You're going to play with it in Photoshop, and then you're going to put it into Illustrator and play with it a little bit more there. So our job is to understand the image creation processes, identify composition layouts practices, discuss the steps in the workflow, and cover 3 tasks and a designer encounters. I'm going to use a little bit of this discussion that I posted in the classroom to help with this. But when we talk about a graphic designer, they might have duties and there might be workflow. So tell me, you guys can either type in the chat or speak it out loud. What are some of the things that you think a designer does? So give me, someone says, what is a graphic designer? And you say,
someone who uses some type of topography.
someone that uses typography. Yes. Good. What else?
Design logos, advertisements.
Logos, advertisements.
Digital designing.
Digital designing. So taking something and using the computer to create the design. In the old days, it was much more difficult before computers. But certainly since the advent of computers, that makes our lives a whole lot easier to go back and modify and change. Anything else? So this one surprised me when I was going through my degree, and when I finished my bachelor's degree, I did an associate's at the community college, and then I went to a technology school to finish my bachelor's in graphic design. My master's I had already completed years before in communications. And then it turned out that when I finished and I got my paper back saying what my bachelor's was in, it was in visual communication. So when we look at it, what is your job? Basically here is to be a visual communicator. It's to use images and typography to create logos, to create brochures. I want you guys to look around your house for me and name 3 things, so name at least 3 things that you see in your house that a graphic designer had to design.
Picture frames.
Picture frame, okay, maybe.
The logo on my air freshener can.
Logo on your air freshener can.
Design on a box of diapers.
Designing on your monitor,
Diaper
TV
bag.
designing, anything with monitors.
Like commercials and stuff.
Yeah,
What you talking about?
or advertisements,
Advertisements.
flyers that's around the house.
Yes.
Mm,
So I want you guys to get even more detail than that. I want you to go, let's go take a look at your microwave. Can you guys see your microwave from where it's at?
A what?
Your microwave,
Oh, the features on there, the features.
like the buttons.
Oh yeah.
The what?
The buttons on your microwave.
Microwave.
Oh, microwave. Wait, are we talking about digital art or food?
We're talking about both. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
We're talking about where designs actually show up. What kinds of things, and looking around your house, naming several things, or you could be talking about food, I don't know. Naming several things that you guys might see in your environment, suggesting that a graphic designer designed it. So we have things that are like on something. So your stove, and someone had to figure out what those buttons were going to look like. So your microwave, your cereal box,
Your refrigerator.
well, all of the packaging stuff that you guys are seeing, someone actually designed the label for that. So that little nutrition thingy, that little nutrition box and listing all the contents and all those things, those are all done by a designer. Somebody designed that. So when we look at the volume of actual design stuff that's going on out there, you are actually surrounded by it. You're surrounded by design. You just have to kind of open your eyes and take a look at what's out there. There's a whole field now of infographics. I think I mentioned to you guys early on, there's going to be jobs out there that you guys are going to have that don't exist right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there's jobs out there that are going to be created that based on technology we're not even going to be aware of. Like I said, we've never seen social media. If someone said 20 years ago, well, I'm a social media expert. You know, I help businesses with their social media, and they go, what?
What's that?
Yeah, like, okay. So why would somebody pay you to do that? You get hired on a company as a social media expert. A lot of times the jobs that are showing up in communications now actually are those kinds of jobs. They're looking at you going out and connecting. So your job kind of ends up being a connector. You're connecting people. But from what we're teaching you guys on this side, it's more of, I'm going to visually tell you what I want you to know, and I'm going to use images and pictures and text in order to communicate a thought, a feeling, an emotion, what this product is for, you know, how useful it might be. I was supposed to be designing a box, and it was a packaging class, and I had to actually design a box, and I designed a box that would have like a little push thing. It was supposed to push out like a granola bar, and I designed it, and I was trying to figure out what color was appropriate for it, and I made it a powder blue color, and some guy goes, "It looks like a tampon box." And I was like, okay.
Okay.
That's not what I wanted for granola. So you really have to even pay attention to all those elements, the color and all of the ways that those things are put together, because it's communicating something to someone. And if we're not being intentional about how we're doing it, and asking people feedback, like, you know, what do you think when you see this? What does this box say to you when you see it? And you hope that it's what you want it to be. Yeah. I was
Feedback's really good.
You what?
Feedback's really good.
Oh, for sure.
There's some that doesn't do like feedbacks pretty well. You know how quote unquote constructive criticisms are.
Yes.
Yes, those kinds of people. But again, it's still information nonetheless on how you should do it. But the way how you take it is how you make that change.
Yes. And it's really difficult because a lot of times people take it really personal.
Yes.
Really, it's about your design. It's not about you as a person. So you know, maybe separate those two things out so that you're not taking it quite as much. But feedback is super valuable, and if you're willing to listen to it, it can help you become a better designer. And really, I mean, if you work in an environment where you can have a lot of access to a lot of different people, that can be super helpful. Oh, I remember I was going to tell you guys. I figured something out. Here's what I figured out. I think those quizzes that you guys have been taking, I think the reason that the questions or the answers were so specific was because the actual answers are sitting in these videos that are already inside your classroom. These ones down here. So like here's week 4. I think the answers are in here because I was skimming through them, just trying to see what was covered in these videos. And I think that's where those answers were coming from, because I was like, these are so specific, it seems arbitrary to me. And in reality, I think they're covered in here. Have you guys listened to these videos?
Yeah, some
Those?
of them. Not week 4 yet. Not week 4, but I have another one.
Have you listened to the other ones? Were they covering the actual questions that were from the live sessions? Those live
Wait.
sessions?
They're like
They did.
demonstrations and assignments and assessment, but not necessarily the quiz.
Okay. Well, this one's focusing a lot more on design process, more like the discussion kind of questions right here. So the thing I want you guys to know as you guys are going forward, actually, I think that's where the answers are. So yeah, I wanted to mention that too, because I was like, and I asked somebody, I said, so are the questions that are coming off those quizzes, are they the ones that are listed in those live videos that are in the classroom? And no one answered me back. So I don't know what that means, but I think I'm right. I think I'm right.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wasn't sure because, like, I know with my last few classes, like, I know that, like, the teachers went over, like, the live lessons either, like, in the middle or at the end. So I was like, I'm not entirely sure where the answers to these are.
Yes. Yeah, and I've given you guys 2 so far. So out of the things that I've talked to you guys about, and I think they're both really super obvious. So I think that you guys will have this one, at least the first 2 answers down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be good. Okay. So when looking at the discussion's asking you a specific question. So let me go back to the discussion here. Go to the top. Lots of stuff to do in here. Okay. So if you guys look up here at the top, they're giving you, is this the right one? Am I in the wrong week? I'm in the wrong week.
That's the
Because I'm like,
week 2.
that doesn't even look familiar to me. That's a little concerning. There we go. Let's go to week 4. That would be smarter. And I was like, what? Okay. So what I did was I found this little vlog, and then in the vlog there's also video, and it's the same person that wrote it. So in this, she kind of walked a little bit through the process that someone might go through as far as how these elements go and how this process happens. But if a lot of times what you're going to do initially is you first of all need to figure out what the job is. Now, I would say to you, be a smart questioner. Like if there's holes in the information that they've given you, fill in the holes. What you might find is the company that you go work for, they might have a set of questions you might work with. They talk about creative briefs, and not all companies go with creative briefs, but they will have some parameters maybe spelled out either in the contract or in a discussion, and you want to take really good notes, like who is this for? So right here, the second step is to figure out, research the demographic of that client. So how would it be different if I were trying to reach someone that was 25 and lived in an urban area versus somebody that was 50 and lived in a rural area? How would they be different from each other, do you think? Give me some ways they might be different from each other, because they would be.
What would be? I'm sorry, I was out for a bit.
So how would it be different to work with somebody that's a 25-year-old person that lives in an urban area versus someone that lives in a rural area and is, say, 25 years older? Is there going to be a difference between those two?
Should be.
Yeah, we all have a whole generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I can tell you is somebody that's not 25. Well, I've been 25 and past it, but is I don't like things coming at me quickly. So you know when they do really fast cuts on commercials and the cuts go really fast and your brain doesn't have a chance to assimilate all the information?
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's not for me. It's not for my generation. It's for the younger generation. So that idea of those fast cuts, the way that kids have been raised is with video games. So they're used to having things move quickly and having to assimilate the information very quickly. Where someone from my generation, I'm not native to computers. Computers came about when I was in high school, at least the availability to them. So when I tell you I'm not native, I mean I didn't grow up with them. They became part of our lives later. And I have a brain that likes computers. So I was able to assimilate them. But people my age, there's a lot of them are like, I don't even want to mess with it. I don't want to learn that crap. So what we know is, there's going to be a big difference in them. So you need to figure out who you are actually marketing to. That could change the choice of color. It could change the way I'm presenting. It could change the type of imagery that I might use, the type of font or typography I might use. So when we're figuring that out, it does help you kind of to know. Another piece that happens when we're talking about researching clients is where would I go to reach them?
Yeah, Ms. Sherry, I saw that when I was researching on assignment, as far as different communities, like where people live and how the environment is.
Yes.
As an architect, that actually makes a difference too in your work, in what
Yes.
you're creating and designing.
Yes.
Yeah, they did say that. They mentioned that.
Yes. Yeah, so when we're looking at those elements, if I'm living in a rural area, there's almost a different mentality about how we think about things, about how maybe we interact with the environment or the volume of people, where if I live in the city, I'm used to being around a lot of people. So when I go down to campus, I'm not going to be going down to campus this year, at least to the end of the year. But normally when I would go to campus, I would take the bus and then I would take light rail for a little while. So in my particular area, maybe I might, if I was trying to reach a specific audience, I might want to broadcast or publish in the bus because I'm sitting there doing nothing. Have you guys seen the ones where you go in the bathroom and there's like a little thing in the bathroom? They have like little advertisements in their bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there doing nothing. So what a great place to stick advertising. They can't go anywhere.
Mm.
So how do we reach the people that we want to reach? So it's part of what we want to do, but also figuring out what colors and the way we present things and the types of images I might choose for one audience versus another. So what kind of images might I choose differently for my 25-year-old versus my 50-year-old?
The 25-year-old might like something more vibrant, whereas the older person might like something more dull. Because I've noticed as with our generation things, it's like we need more eye-catching stuff.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So since one is in the urban, it should appeal to the for like quote unquote urban taste, and one is in rural, so it's a simple advertisement.
Good. Other things you might think about is people want to see images that represent them. So
That they can relate to it.
Yes, because if they don't see themselves in that product or they don't see themselves using that product, they're less likely to buy it. Because they don't see themselves using it. But if they have somebody that's using whatever it is that they're doing, they're more likely to purchase that.
And then for children, it's color difference. A lot
Yes.
makes a difference in colors.
A lot of bright, vibrant primary colors.
Right.
Yes. So once we kind of do some research and we kind of figure out who we're talking with and who we're targeting our message to as communicators, we want to brainstorm. We want to figure out who we're talking to. We want to sketch it out. So some of you guys are artists, yes? Where are my artists?
Yes.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
So my sketchers, yeah.
Here.
So you guys might want to sketch something out, right? But you don't want to come up with just one.
You come up with multiples in case of anything that's wrong.
I would say at least 3 totally different designs.
Yep.
What might end up in the end is you might end up combining some of those over at the Evolve and Combine Ideas one. But initially, as you're sketching, you might want to just play with those ideas and see what you come up with. So what's totally different ways, and you might think about the imagery based on that group in totally different ways. How might I approach that? So once I've sketched it all out, I might scan those into my computer and I might digitize them in Illustrator. There's tools inside of Illustrator that allow me to scan a document and convert it over into a digital format. And if I wanted to, I could color it. But that gives me tools in order to take that information in, and then I could start building out the concepts. At this point, you might, once you start building out the concepts and you've got 3, maybe 6 good ideas, you might come up with lots of them. Present them to the client or ask for some feedback so that you can check in with somebody and see what they're thinking. Because I don't know that I want to go way down the rabbit hole if someone isn't going to like my idea. If it's not the right fit, I would rather find out a little earlier. So you'll notice in a lot of cycles when you're working with larger companies, in a lot of the cycles, they'll actually go out and have it set up for you to get feedback from the client. So it's more of a process, like a check-in. So I had someone else design my website, and I didn't really want to design my website. It's not my thing. I don't like coding.
Coding's horrible.
Yeah, I want to make pretty pictures.
Yes.
So I had somebody else do mine, and then she did a mock-up so that I could see kind of what she was thinking about, and then I agreed to it or gave feedback on it, and then was able to implement that. So that gave another piece. Let me see if I can show you guys, because I think I liked what she did. It wouldn't have been something that I would have done. It's quite different. Let me see if I could just use this browser right here. I don't know what I have on here. This is an old Internet Explorer. Okay. So this is for my hypnotherapy business. Any moment now.
And I've read loads.
Okay. So this is mine, and my favorite color is purple. So you'll notice that I've got purple, like on
I love purple too.
Yeah. And I liked gold. So these are 2 colors that purple and yellow are my 2 favorites. So that's so this is what she developed, right? So these little icons, somebody actually developed those, by the way. Right?
I like the back pain picture.
The what?
The back pain logo. The lower
back pain, yeah. So when we look at that, those are elements that we have in our design. And so somebody is a web designer, and this is part of what they do, right? They're doing this imagery on another side. It's just another way of communicating and making sure, there's a trick to it, because they need to make sure that your information stands out well enough against the background. So how do you get things to pop? We talk about something that we're going to talk about coming up is hierarchy. So when we look at something and we look at the development, is there anything that stands out to you guys based on this little top section up here?
The text popped.
Okay, which part of the text?
The shadow.
So you're noticing the drop shadow?
The self-healing hypnotherapy with the drop shadow.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad about drop shadows, but I think I gave her that part.
Yes. There's also the color differences of the font with the yellow.
Yes. And this is actually a bevel and emboss on that, on this.
Oh, okay.
On this one to make it pop up more off the page. So you're seeing that too, then that's kind of why it's sticking up like away from the page. Yeah, so you're noticing the color, right? So she chose contrasting colors that are going to give you enough difference between the background color and the foreground color. So when we build a hierarchy, we want to think about what's the first thing we want someone to look at? What's the second thing we want someone to look at? So that when they're guiding their eye through the design, that they're able to see what I want them to see. I want them to see the name of my business. So you'll notice that that's been set. And then this is a quote. I don't know when I have this quote in there from I gave her, I think, oh, that's me. That was my quote. So when we look at the elements, again, there's contrasting things. And she's created segments in here. So she's created the way that she's changed the text. So here it's going across the page, but here it's done in column format. So we're showing that, and then she's flipping the colors back and forth in order to create the distinction between those two.
But she still sticks with purple.
Because I asked her to. I literally went into Photoshop and I gave her the colors. I went in and I gave her the color values.
I don't know. It pops out more because it pops out more to me.
Well,
I guess it's because of color theory, the opposite of it.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Purple and yellow are contrasting colors
right.
of the color wheel.
Yes.
So they are on opposite ends. And again, you do need to be careful about using the same color value. I gave her 2 colors of yellow and 2 colors of purple, and that's what she weaved into the page.
Is it because like is it because it grows to be stale?
Or too flat, maybe too flat or too. I don't know.
For as far as the colors go, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, like one all the same.
It was me that did that. I just gave her, I decided that there should be 2 different yellows and 2 different purples.
I see.
That was a great idea, though.
Because I wanted to give her some opportunities to have some things to play with. I didn't want her to just give her 2 colors. So
that's too easy, yeah.
Yeah, so she weaved that stuff in there. And you have to think about that when you're designing the text and when you're doing all that stuff, this knowledge and research of the client. We talk about pains and issues that a client might have. I want to know what those are because I'm going to put that in the text. So when you guys look at that website, what do you think are some of the challenges that people might have, why they might come to a hypnotherapist? Any idea?
It's because of the pictures.
Yes. So these 2 right here are the 2 main ones I work on almost always. Weight and smoking. And they're in the center. So that's kind of the bread and butter of a hypnotherapist's existence.
And it also is a good place because people looks in the center before they look at everywhere else.
You do have a tendency to do that, but we'll talk a little bit more about some different ways we can play with that. So what we might do is once we get feedback, we might evolve and combine ideas and then get client feedback. So one of the things I would say to you guys as you're going through and you're thinking about, you're going through your design and you want feedback, I'm your clients. So treat your instructor like your client. I always say treat him like your boss, but in this case, you're going to treat me like the client, right?
Yes.
So kind of focus on it that way so that you might ask if you need to get feedback on something, say, hey, what do you think about this? Or here's a couple different ones. Which one do you like better? If you give me just a quick JPEG of whatever you're looking at, then I can say, I can't see something. And that's usually what my feedback is. Like there's not enough color contrast between things. So that ends up being a challenge, especially if you're trying to place text over an image, which is very, very tricky. There's stuff you can do, but it's tricky. Oh, front-end developers, no. Graphic designers, just know it says graphic designers there. Okay, so our job is going to be meet with the customer. I'm going to develop visual elements. I'm going to do design layouts, images, play with type and text. You'll find, there's a whole field, and I don't know if how they've got it set up now, but we used to have a class that was just typography. That's all it was. So when we talk about it, it's got its own field. It's got its own value. If we look at text and the text that people choose, it really does communicate something to you, the types of fonts that you use. My least favorite font is the one I have to deal with the most. So when I'm dealing with papers on campus, I do APA format, and I have to look at people's Times New Roman papers, and it's my least favorite font because the letters are too close together. So my eye has a hard time sometimes distinguishing letters. My favorite one that I use the most just for readability is this Verdana. I use that one a lot. So you guys might find certain fonts that you become very fond of, but yeah. So present the design and concepts to the client. Make sure you know if there's any specific information, make changes per edit and review. This should be part of the process, guys. These changes that should go back and forth either to your creative director, who might be looking back at the file and making decisions on it based on what they see, or maybe you're working directly with the client and you might be getting feedback from them. But in any case, information needs to go back and forth, and then you need to go back and edit and redo. That's why when you guys do design stuff, in particular in my class, I really work to allow you to rework stuff. I say if you want to rework this for more points, you can do that, based on the feedback that I've given you.
Mhm.
And I do that on purpose because in a normal job situation, you would have the opportunity to make corrections and revisions to whatever you had and resubmit whatever that work is based on the revisions that were requested. So, you might manage to print something. You might do a mock-up of something. You might, and there's lots of different ways that you can do that now because we also have 3D. So it's been a while, but it was a couple years ago I taught Intermediate Illustrator, and we actually got in Illustrator you can develop 3D objects. And then our job was to take the 3D object and actually put the label on it. So we developed the label and then we place it on the 3D object. So that's stuff you can do as far as mock-ups go. You can create them right inside the application and then place it right on top of the thing that you're doing based on the programs that you have access to. And I wasn't familiar with dimensions until you guys started mentioning in your discussion post that first week. Was that when that was? And I was like, oh, cool. We finally got it because I worked with Cinema 4D and 3D Studio Max. And I'm not great at 3D. It's not my thing. It's not my brain doesn't like it. But it's cool to have because it's another element, another way for us to work with things. So the fact that Adobe is developing that is really cool. Maya is another really major program that relates to how we deal with these things.
Maya.
Yeah, Maya is complicated, and you got to know some stuff. I'm just saying.
I know.
Maya's a toughie. Okay, so I mentioned this one to you as well. So just the idea of when we're going through the process of doing this, these are some things that you might need to pay attention to. Analyzing the creative brief, making sure you understand the process, doing the marketing research. Again, sketching, figuring out, brainstorming, sketching and doing prototype, refining. So I had a couple extra steps in mind based on what they have in here. I think I've got more. I think I pulled my stuff in here from the article that I cited in down here in the bottom. So that's where I got my inspiration from for what I did down there on the here. Okay.
Hey.
All right.
Sarah, I have a question.
Yes, I love questions.
Is it okay to share your resources?
What do you
If
mean?
you have a post on the background, like on the prompt and the demonstration of what you just said just a minute ago on our assignment, you said that was where you got your resources. Okay, to look into that and maybe share some of the resources that you used.
Sure. Like you want to use my resources?
Yeah, I'm just saying if it's interest us, because I did that on lynda.com last time. I did it once, but I wasn't sure if that was okay.
We want you to be curious. So we want you to go out and take it to the next level. Yeah, go out there and research for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the point of doing these discussions is that you guys learn from each other. mean, the teacher's like got some background, right, and some knowledge that they're throwing on you, but you guys also have information.
Right. Okay.
You guys are also smart. You've lived life, right? You guys have cereal boxes. You've got a microwave.
Right.
You hit the buttons. All right. So let me ask you a question. When do you think graphic design, that term graphic designer came into being? When do you think that happened?
Comics?
Well, I mean, about what time period? Do you think it happened in this century? Do you think it happened in the previous century?
Yeah, it happened probably the early 1900s.
1990s?
Go earlier than 1990s, but yes, early 1900s. So when we say 1900s, we're actually saying 18 something.
Right.
So when the term was coined in the 18 somethings, so the late 1900s, 1900s, sorry. Oh, late 1900s. So late 1900s. There's a reason I just threw that in there. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying.
Pay attention.
Wake up, Alan.
Oh. What's up? Oh, crap.
That's right. And I always giggle every time I say this, but it's really a great way to remember some of these design principles. There was
Contrast, repetition, alignment. I see a lot of those actually, but mostly the contrast, repetition.
yes.
Alignment and proximity are around what, websites and posters probably.
Yeah, and the thing that happens with this is that you kind of want to think these things through when you're putting something together. So if one of the things I want to think about is if I'm talking about, now when I say hierarchy, what would that mean to you guys if you were thinking about that as it relates to graphic
What's on
design?
top?
So what's on top, so that might be part of it. What else?
That's all I think.
Level of importance.
Level of importance. Good.
They have a lot to do with marketing too.
Okay,
Marketing
good.
business.
So what I want to think about, yes, and you guys are right. So when we think about hierarchy, it's what's maybe on top. So it could be related to what's on top, but it also has to do with really what I want them to look at first. So I just mentioned that a little bit ago.
What's the first priority?
First priority, or what do I want them to see first? If you don't do a good job, imagine, I wish I had a picture of it right now. I don't have it right now. But imagine that there is a business card, and in the business card has something in each corner and one thing in the center. Which one are you going to look at?
The center.
In the center,
And then where are you going to go?
The corner.
in the corners.
To the right.
What if everything is
corner,
the
right, to
same
the right.
size?
I don't know where to look.
That's not. Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
intention in setting something up is to make sure that you know what to look at first, what to look at second, what to look at third, right? So I'm
that's
the
like-
one that's controlling what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys think about it, what do I want them to look at first? What do I want them to look at second? So I'm going to use these elements that I have here to help make sure people look at it. Contrast means that something needs to have enough difference from everything else,
Like color.
stand out, like color. But it also means that if I contrast something and make it larger or use a different font or make it bold or do something that makes it stand out, again, I'm going to draw their eye there. So that's suggesting this is important. Look here. Now, when I use repetition, repetition usually says these things go together. So they're usually items that are grouped. I might use, when we work in InDesign, you use paragraph styles and character styles. And what you do is you set your whole document up and you say things that are this level are going to have this font with this size. Things that are here that are maybe indented and a subordinate idea to that are going to look like this. So you literally go through your document and you organize things so that the person that's looking at its eye is going to be guided through the information. This is, this can be complicated and complex. You might look at, pick up textbooks, look at magazines, look at the way the first thing that your eye goes to, the next thing that your eye goes to. How did they do that? Did they do a good job at it? What would you do differently if you saw it? Right? So I can teach myself what I want to look at and how I want to interpret that information. If it's repetition and things are used repetitively, it means things are similar to each other and it suggests relationship to each other. Alignment, again, means things are go together. If something's outdented, then it means that's a more important idea. Something that's indented underneath it means it's a supported or supporting idea. So we're going to look at our information and our eye is going to go down the page and it's going to say, okay, this is a main idea because it's outdented. And then this is a supporting idea. It's listed underneath it. It's telling me that that's supporting evidence for whatever is listed above it.
Right.
Proximity suggests that if it's close to it or near it, that they have a relationship to each other. So if I want to make something be different, I'm going to put it away from everything else. So I might group everything else together, but I have something else that sticks out and makes it bigger or larger. So let's take a look at that Photoshop, one of the Photoshop ones that we looked at the other day. And what are you guys noticing about this? Is there anything that's standing out with this image to you?
The forest.
Okay.
Color. I like the color.
Tell me about the color. What are you noticing about the color?
They're about the same.
But it's the same as the. Oh, go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's all I had.
I think they chose the right color because it describes the nature of it, like, the definition of what they're advertising.
Okay.
Green.
It has a minimalist design.
And it's the same color as the picture. The font color, the color is the same as they use a contrast.
It's a really cool technique for making sure that the person's eye is being drawn to what you want them to see, and creating cohesiveness in the design. So you can use the eyedropper, which is your tool right over here, and let's just say I want to create a border. I can go inside my image and grab a color from here, and then it's a subtle thing, but it's tying the two things together. Are you noticing any repetition?
Lines.
Lines, good.
I guess shape, right? There's a whole lot of rectangles.
There's a whole lot of rectangles, and you have 1, 2, 3. So this suggests these are going together, yes?
Yes.
And we have 3 dots, and we have 3 lines. So we'll talk later about the
is that the repetition part, or is that?
We have repetition that's going on here, and we also have doing things in odd numbers. So 3s, 5, 7, right?
Yes.
They don't have the same number. So they've got 3 here that they're using multiple times. So I have 3 of these panels, 3 of these white dots, 3 of these lines. Then we use white, and that white is connecting and tying things together. So when we see this box crossing over these two, it's creating a connection between them.
They even use 3 in a title, 3 words.
Yes, we've got a lot of repetition here. Yeah. So what it does is it creates a really cohesive design and allows things to feel like they're connected to each other. Does this kind of make sense?
Yeah, I have a question. So, I mean, I know everyone can design, originality is a great thing to do, but is it best to keep it simplified, like, instead of too much going on? Like
I think it depends on your audience. If you're going for someone that's my age, I don't want you to give me a bunch of crap. But if you're going for someone that's a younger age, they might be more comfortable having a lot more. But if I've got a lot of stuff going on, how are they going to know what to look at?
Boy, if this is like a national parks, or if you already put in, the trees are already good enough. It already shows the environment. Put in more stuff to clutter the eyes, like my desktop. You don't know where you look at.
Glondra, I want you to know I checked him and he showed me his desktop and he actually did clean it up.
Oh, did you? Wow.
I know.
That felt quite condescending.
That's a
Oh,
you
did you now?
made improvement.
My question, Ellen, is did you clear it off so she could look at it? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
put it
did. I did. I did.
I oohed and awed over it a little bit, so I make him feel good. Okay. But again, look at this. Explore the wild. To me, that's the first place my eye goes. How about you guys?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Where the sunlight is, like I see right in the middle.
And it's almost like your eyes being drawn there. So it's almost like it's drawn right here.
That's yeah.
And then you'll notice that it kind of got arrows here. So another thing that you can play with is arrows and things that are kind of pointing their direction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at design and we look at something that's put together, you'll notice you can kind of dissect it. Why do I like this design? You know, stop and take a look at it and go, why is this one interesting to me? Why is this cool? Why do I like this design? And break it apart and take a look at it and see if you can understand it. You learn a lot from working with somebody else's design. So this one actually takes a look at a grid, and I'm going to use the grid in Illustrator just to show you guys what it looks like. So I'm just going to click on a thingy here. And then right here, if we go up to, I think it's under view, it's under view. And then we can go to grid. So what you can see is that you can place things on a grid format. And if you need to change this, so on your Macs, there's a little thing that says Illustrator up here in the corner. On a PC, you go to Edit and Preferences. You can change how often those grids will show up. So I think it's under Units. Nope, some under Guides and Grids. So right now it's setting up at every 72 points is how often it does it. I can play with the subdivision. I can change this color so it will be something other than cyan if I'm working with something that's that I need a more contrasting color. And then this is lines, or you can do dots. So you'll see things like this grid, and it allows you to sort of place things and figure out elements on a grid. So we can also look at balance. So let's go back and take a look at our little Photoshop thingy. And tell me about balance as you see it on this image. What are you thinking about balance?
There's consistent green. Like the dark lines over there where nationalparks.org is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still dark, but it's consistent with the green. It doesn't overwhelm it. The texts are green. The whites again are again it's just pretty similar, pretty minimalistic. Nothing to throw the eyes off.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my crop tool, and what you guys will notice when I go to click on this is that it breaks it up into
Rule of thirds.
into a little grid. And so you can see that we've kind of got things oriented a certain way. Now, it turns out with the rule of thirds that we kind of want to place things on these little thingies. Sorry, that was for you, Delandria. My little sound effects. These little marks are right here. And it can be a way of drawing the eye. So we'll see if we can play with that in a little bit so you guys get a chance to see it. And then the other thing we mentioned is the rule of odd numbers. So again, 3, 3, 3, 3. So the idea that we don't normally have even numbers of things. We almost always have odd numbers of things.
I wonder why.
You what?
I wonder why.
It's just the way our brain works, I think. I think from the design side, and it's hard to make things be even or equal. Sometimes if you have 4, like how do you place that? You know, but I can have 3 lines and have 1 be in the center, and it just seems to make more sense. So let's take a look at your job this time. So you're gonna download. There's gonna be a download folder. So let's go take a look at that download folder here. You guys going? Am I going at an okay pace? You guys are okay?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so we go down here to the prompt. You guys will notice a zip file. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna unzip that file, and then you're gonna be grabbing the stuff from here. So what I did, I'll see if I can I'll just open in Bridge. You guys can kind of see what we've got going on here. So let me go to week 4. Let me go to assignment. And then we can click on this and you guys can see the client information. So what they've got in here is that you guys are gonna have an image, and then you're gonna have some text. The text is pretty basic. All they're saying in the text are things like, you know, it's a business card, this is a person's name, you know. Let me see if I can do it from here. Can I do it from here? Let me change my view to large icons. Let me go to assignment. Okay, so from this one right here, I think I can do it from here. On your Macs, you guys have something similar. So right here, we can see client number 1. We have his business text. I think this is an architect. And, oh, do I have to do that on every single one? It's kind of a pain. This one, I don't remember. This one, I don't have to do it every time. This one was a florist. This one is a tattoo artist. And then this one is a, apparently we don't want to show you. It's a secret. That one's a secret. I'll go to client 5. I think, yeah, this one's a photographer. So you're gonna pick one of those to play with. And then once you figure that out, then you're gonna work on your information from there. All right, so what we need to do is we're gonna take one of these clients and we're gonna be building a business card. So you're gonna go through whichever client you select, you're gonna choose the image from that client. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yes. I tried to read through this myself and I was like, I don't get it. So I actually had to have somebody explain it to me. I was like, huh? I don't get it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna open the image in Photoshop and then you're gonna play with it. You can play with transformation layers and layer effects and blending modes and shape. So I'm gonna kind of play with some things with you guys just so I can show you a little bit of ways that you can work with these images a little bit more. And then you're going to crop it if you feel like it needs to be cropped. So if you feel like there's too much information going on and you need to crop it, you can do that. And then you're going to save that file out as, and notice it's going to have the PSD extension. So it's a Photoshop file.
Ms. Sherry, I have a question.
Yes.
So when you say play with that, I mean we can get as creative as we want, or?
I think you just need to make sure I can still tell that's the image.
Okay.
But you can play a little bit with it. Yeah, I mean, you want to maybe color correct it or do things like that. So let's go ahead.
Maybe we can.
Don't rearrange. Don't redo it. Don't redo it out.
Well, I wanted to show you guys some things that you could play with this because I think that there's some cool stuff that we can do as we're working with our images. So let me go and just open one. See if it'll let me open it just in Photoshop. Were you gonna say something, Alan?
Oh no. You said something about rearranging it, so I wanted to ask how much rearranging?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Well, you guys are gonna be the designer here. So your job is to take the image and the text, and you're gonna be ultimately creating this business card in Illustrator. You're gonna have one side that's gonna have the text on it, and the other side that's gonna have the image on it.
So I get I get it. So I can fully do whatever you want.
Yeah, so it gives you a little bit of play in that. So the first thing I want you guys to know is I know you guys get to play. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Sure.
So the first thing you always want to know is when you bring an image into Photoshop, it locks that layer. Now you can click, I see if I can remember, it's shift, I think.
Double clicking it.
M,
actually
M
would
and
work.
slash, M and a question mark slash.
So you can do that, but let
Yeah.
me give you something else that I would suggest that you do first. First thing I would say to you is duplicate your layer. And then turn off your first layer. And what that does is it means I'm leaving something alone. And that way, if I need to go back to my original one, because I go, ugh, what did I just do? Then I have the opportunity to go back and work on that, okay?
Yes.
So let me show you a little bit of how we might be able to play with this. So that I might want to crop this one. I might want to play with some of the elements. If you guys notice the center of the image, it looks like somebody did a Gaussian blur around the outside. So they were trying to cause your eye to go here.
A focus.
Yes. So they've done that on purpose. They've created that. So one of the things that we talk about, if we take a look at that rule of thirds, let me go ahead and go back to my thingy here. I'm going to click on this. Ooh. There's my video links for you guys. Okay. Oops. Just kidding. Maybe what I want to do is I might want to shift this around. And we talked about the rule of thirds. And if I wanted to, I might want to have the focus be here or right here. So it kind of depends on what you want people to see. Do I want them to see more of that side, or do I want them to see more of the hand? So let's just say I'm going to I want them to have their focus be right here. And I'm just going to pull this in here. And what I'm using is the crop tool. So I'm causing there to be less of the outside stuff, and I'm going to crop it down. But I've kind of created the focus to happen right here. And I've moved my image so that we're paying attention to the thirds. Okay, so one of these cross marks, these crosshairs. Yeah, I'm gonna move it a little bit more. And I'm gonna kind of crop that off. So once I hit enter, now the rest of that is gone now, and I only have the image that I created.
But
Now,
the background is still there.
the what?
The original picture is still there.
It is. So if I wanted
Yes.
to, I could still turn that original image back on, right?
But does it crop both of them?
It actually cropped both of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It changed the canvas size, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
So they've both been cropped. So that's not going to help that one. So you know, though you hopefully you kept the JPEG. When you save this out, it's going to be not a JPEG. It'll be a PSD, and you'll name it something different.
Miss Sherry, so if you lock it, it's not, what do you just lock in the original?
I left the original one locked.
In case of a bad edit, you can just go back to it.
Yeah, I used to, when I'm in Photoshop, I usually leave my hand on Control or Command Z. I go,
That's why I asked, because it changed it anyway. That's what I'm asking.
yeah, it changed the size because I just changed the canvas. So that's been changed. But remember that when we're talking through this stuff that we want to do adjustment layers, right? So we want to do things and do them in a non-destructive way. So the crop is going to be destructive. There's not really a way around that. So the crop is destructive. But let's just say I want to play a little bit with the color, or I want to add a little bit of a hue to this. It looks like someone's done a pretty good job of color correcting this. I'm just going to check. So I'm going to go up here to layer. I'm going to do a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to choose one of these ones I really like to use. So there's a cheater's way of doing this. You can click right here, and you're going to hit OK. And then you can do auto. And I think this has been done pretty well, but we'll just see if it makes any changes to it with auto. So if you don't have something and you can tell that the brightness and contrast, oh, it didn't.
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
And a lot of times what it will do is it will warm things up. So that gives us an opportunity to kind of play with that. Again, it's an adjustment layer. I didn't actually change it. It's a layer. Cool?
Yep.
Is that allowed on our assignment?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So another thing I want to show you, which is really fun, is if we go over here to edit, I can come down here to transform, and I can do things like I can rotate and skew and distort. So let's go here and let's play with warp.
Nope, no working.
Wait, it's because I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Always check your layers when it doesn't do what you think it's supposed to do. And I can do things like this. Wait, let me turn off my layer underneath. Okay. When you see the checkerboard, it means that you've got transparency.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I want that. So maybe I want to do, let me lock that in. Or maybe I want to, I can do free transform. That's the one that we were playing with last time. I can scale, I can rotate, I can distort. I can play with perspective. Let's just distort it. Let's just see what it gives us. Ooh. So I can also distort my image. All right, so you guys can play with these a little bit.
We can make it a different shape too, right?
You could.
Instead of rectangular.
Yeah, we're kind of messing up our rule of thirds here, but it's okay. All right, so these are just to give you guys some ideas of how to play with those. So let me go back.
We can design around it, right? Like frame it or just around the actual like picture.
You want to put a frame around it?
Like a background or a frame, or just I'm saying around the photo itself. Can we design around the photo?
Yeah, what you could do let's just say that you wanted to create it and have it. Oh, I've got crop on. We don't want crop right now. Thank you though. So maybe I want to scale my image back, so I can go up here to edit and I can go to transform and scale, and maybe I take it back 90%. Let's see if it just lets me pull it in. You guys can use the transparency as a
because I like that. That's what I was asking.
The other thing, I would be a little bit careful. You try to do things on the corners so that you don't change the height to width ratio. And you'll also notice I have my rulers up here. If you hit Command or Control R, it brings up your rulers up here, and then you can actually pull down guides and things. And then you can use those to help keep track of what you're doing. And then I would make sure that I have this the way that I want it as far as the size goes. I manipulated it enough that it's not exactly equal on all sides, so that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. And then I can just create a new layer down here. Just scooch this over because I've got my boxes over there. Oh, I have to enter. Okay. And I can just create a new layer, and then I can put it below. And then I'm just going to take my marquee. I'm going to choose a color. Let's see if I can go for more of a gold color. And then I'm going to fill it. And I like my little, I think it's here.
Bucket.
A little bucket.
Ooh, that's what I was saying, Miss Sherry. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I can create my little background behind it. You can play a little bit. You can use some of the functions down here. So let's just say I want to create, see if I can create, I'm gonna hit Command D. So it'll stop doing that. Let's just say I want to do a little bevel. Bevel and emboss is kind of one of my fun ones. And then if you double click on this, it gives you more of the control for these elements over here. And then I want to do a preview. So that preview checked, okay. And I want to do let's do an emboss. Can I see any changes on there? Bump it up. I'm not seeing it change on there, so it might be doing it in a different place. Let me cancel that. Let me do it on my image instead. You just click on the function down here. And I can do, and you'll notice that the cool thing about it, again, it's non-destructive. So as long as I don't merge my layers or anything, I can still go in and play with it. Okay, so I'm gonna bump up the depth on this. You guys will see it. Can you kind of see it down here?
Yeah.
And then I can make the size be a little bit more. So this is what I had on my text. I did a little bevel and emboss. I can also do my drop shadow. And you can play with how it's interacting with what you're working with here too. And I can increase or decrease the opacity. I can create a little bit more distance on it. The thing I say you have to be careful about when you're working with drop shadows is that things don't look dirty. Because sometimes you've messed with things too much and then they look dirty. So that doesn't look cool. Okay, I don't like my little thingy, so I'm actually going to get rid of my distort page here. And I'm going to dump it. And you can also just select the layer and hit the thingy underneath. And then I'm just going to duplicate this layer again. Put it above. And then I have a clean copy. So if I didn't like what I did, I just have an easy way of making a correction there. So that's kind of why I do what I do, is I do it way more in Photoshop. I don't really do it in as much in the other programs, but I do it a lot in Photoshop, where I duplicate my layer. Maybe it's because I screw it more than the average person, I don't know. But we already have this one set aside. We already did a little brightness and contrast on it. And remember, if you want to just make the change on that one layer, that we can go over here to the clipping mask and click on our little layer and make that be a clipping mask, and it would only apply to this one layer right here. So that way, if I had other things that were hanging out there, it wouldn't mess with those. What kind of questions do you have for me on this part? So the big things I would say is you guys can play with adjustment layers. You guys can play with the distort functions over here, the edit and transform tools. Let's go look at the assignment. I'm trying to remember what else they give you in here. They give you pretty much have free reign. Blending, oh, I haven't shown you guys blending modes. Okay, blending modes are cool, and it should be really cool with our little gold background here. Okay, so when we do a blending mode, what we want to do is put our thing here, and the way that blending modes end up being kind of cool oh, there we go. I was like, that doesn't seem right to me. What is the heck is that? It was unkind. Okay. So right here, what it does is sometimes it makes it look like it's blended with it. So I'm just going to put my cursor over it. Can you guys see how it's interacting with the gold color that's behind it?
Mm-hmm.
And we're creating some sort of different effects with it. So these are blending modes. These are not native to Illustrator, but they're now in Illustrator.
The color, like multiply. Yeah, okay. I saw what you were doing. I was just wondering. I was like, oh, she's messing with different kinds of.
Yeah, I'm just going over.
All those we were messing around for the assignment, doing the neighborhood.
Did you play with this when you were doing the neighborhood? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I kind of like that one. What do you guys think?
A bit too subtle, a bit too painful in the eyes, maybe.
You think it's too hard to look at?
Yeah.
Well, here, let me show you what else we could do. So let's just say we go to luminosity, and then I can play a little bit with my opacity. So the layer, and you guys will see opacity and transparency listed together. So you'll see them and know that they're interacting with each other. So what I'm playing with is I'm playing with the gold color. So I'm pulling it back. So this is 100%. And now I'm at 45, 46%. So the yellow is there, but it's just barely there. This would take it all the way down to none.
Mm.
So let's go ahead and just do 50%. Okay. Does it look okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and save my file out. I have to remember what they want me to do for the naming. So
It says assignment 4 under
it's the
yeah.
same pretty much as all
Yeah.
the other ones.
assignment for first last name.
Your teacher isn't entertained if you just put first name, last name, but it's not entertaining. First name, last name, that's what it says. Yeah,
What
you're
is that?
cute. You're cute. You're cute and all. Let me poke you in the head. Okay. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to just go ahead and change the name right here. And if you guys don't have to add the PSD, it normally will add it for you. Sure, it's Z. Almost forgot my Z. Okay, I'm going to put you guys in your class. And then this is a Photoshop. Did I do it right? Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into Illustrator. We're going to create our document at the specific size. So you guys are good at the first piece, right? So now we're going to go to part 2. So we're going to create an artboard as 3.5 by 2 inches. And you can do it either orientation. So you can make it landscape or portrait. So I'm going to close this. I want to turn off my grid.
That's a whole lot of rule of 9, rule of 3s right there.
Yeah, that's like confusing. And I have students that turn stuff in and I'm like, oh, okay.
Ow.
That's like a lot. That's a lot to look at. I'm just saying, I think it'll come back up when I open this up. Okay, I'm going to change this to inches. And it's supposed to be 3.5 by 2. 3.5 by 2. And I need 2 artboards. Okay, so let me take a second and talk through some of these pieces right here. So I mentioned to you guys what the bleed is. Do you guys remember when we talking about bleed?
Outside the picture.
What is a bleed?
When the color goes outside the frame or the...
Yeah, when you're gonna have something and the colors needs to go to the edge of the page, when a printer goes to print something, it's gonna shift it in about 1/8 of an inch. So if they see this bleed, they know they need to print it on a larger size, and they'll print it on a larger size and then trim off the edge for you. Okay. So let's create a little bleed on here because we might want to play with that with our image. And it's usually about 1/8 of an inch, so we're pretty good here. What do we know about color modes? What do you guys know about these 2 color modes? Any information you have about RGB versus CMYK?
RGB is web and CMYK is for printing.
Good. And what does RGB stand for?
Red, green, blue.
And then CMYK?
Cyan, magenta, yellow, black.
Yes. So when
surprisingly.
So this is going to be important to you guys on your assessment. So you need to make sure that you're using the proper one. So if it's RGB, it's going to be viewed on a screen. If it's going to be printed out, you're going to use CMYK. And it just has to do with the old printing style and how they used to run those through the machines. All right. So why would I use 72, 150, or 300? Any ideas?
Web design for 72 and a higher scale or images. It'll take longer to download or upload them on 300.
Yes. So 72 is for web. 300 is going to be for print.
Print. Okay.
If what you want is you want a really crystal clear, crispy, lovely image. So that's why we're going to do something at 300 DPI, PPI, so that we have this be really super clear and crisp. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave mine here. Know that there's less color options under CMYK than there is under RGB. That's fine. It's not going to hurt our sales at all. And then we're actually going to go grab that gold color, I think, from from back here. So I'm actually gonna go grab the color value. So there's a kind of a cool way to do that. You can just click on your color chip here. And the cheater's way is to grab this hexadecimal number, which is used for the web. Or grab the hexadecimal number because it's just one number. And then we
That's
can
like the quickest way too.
You what, hun?
It's the cheating way, but it's the quickest way.
Cheating way could, yes. Well, it works for me.
Time management.
What you guys are gonna decide is which one's gonna be the front and which one's gonna be the back. Okay, I'm gonna make this one be my front. And then I'm just gonna double click on this and put inside my fill the hexadecimal number. Then I've got my gold. I'm gonna get rid of my stroke. And the stroke doesn't matter here. I actually took my color to the edge of the bleed. Can you see that I took it to the edge of the bleed?
Yes.
So I'm not doing it to the edge of the artboard. I'm doing it to the edge of the bleed. So this is the part that the printer would come back by later and trim off. Cool? So I'm
What
gonna
do you mean? One more time. The outside border is where.
the red part is
Uh-huh.
what, that's the part they're gonna trim off.
Oh, okay.
So between the red line and the edge of the artboard would be, they would have markings on the PDF and they would know they need to trim that part.
Okay.
Now I'm actually gonna pull this gold over and I'm gonna put it on both sides. So I'm gonna hold down the Alt or Option key. Let me make sure I'm on this. It will work here.
Hey, man, got food ready.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, I'm
Thanks.
hungry.
I was hungry.
Don't even bother knocking.
Oh,
She's like,
I gotta eat again. I gotta eat.
she forgets. Okay. So what we can do now is we can go up here and file in place. Now I want to show you something super cool. We're going to go ahead and bring in our image and we're going to put it on the back side. Let's see, I put that under your class. I got all these documents in here. I have to go find it. Where is it? Right here?
I've been using the color coordination, the little dot.
Are you having fun with some color coordination?
Yeah, I use like yellow for school. Yellow.
All right, so what you'll see is my image is too big. That's a really, really big image. So I can always bring this in and I can make adjustments to it. So I'm gonna actually use my properties over here. And you can see that it's 68 by 0.16 something inches. So it's humongous. So I'm actually gonna take it down and I know that I'm gonna take it down to about, let's take it down to 3 inches. I'm just gonna hit tab. If you notice there's a lock right here, it looks like a little chain link. It means that they're locked. So whatever you do to one side, you'll do to the other side. Okay? It'll automatically make the change on both. Or not. Why doesn't it say 2?
If you unlock it, we have to do it in.
No, I didn't unlock it. Well, it did what I wanted, but it should say the other number there. That's interesting. Alrighty then. Well, that was just an easy way. Oh, I can't find my image. That's what I'm doing. My image isn't there. So somewhere is my image. Where did it go? Okay, so there's another tool in here called Navigator. Where did my image go? That's hilarious. Okay, let's Command C it back a few times. I'm like, where did it go? There somewhere. Okay, let me pull this over so maybe I can get a little bit more of the center of this. And I'll just change the size back down.
There it is.
Okay, so let's see if we can take this down to 2 and have it still stay on my desktop someplace.
But you can't save that on the desktop, ma'am. I learned that from you.
No, it's not on the desktop, and we're working on our artboard and our pasteboard. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, that's not gonna work. That's weird. All right, there's more than one way to skin a chicken. All right. Should work. Didn't work.
Oh, look at the business card.
Yeah, that's a You can see that was a huge, humongous image.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably an easier way of doing that. I'm just not thinking of what it is at this moment.
Are you doing a plus and minus? Or are you clicking?
No,
Oh,
I'm using Zoom.
oh, okay.
We're going to create your border here so that you get your border on this one.
Yay.
I'm going to scale it down a little bit more in just a sec.
I love borders.
Well, if you look right there, I don't have it equal around there. So let me see if I can center this. Usually you'll get little marks on the page to let you know when you're centered. If we want to make sure we do a good one. Okay, so it looks like I need to, I'm going to play with this just a hair. Try not to stretch your images too much because it really will show up. Okay, so it should create a border. Now you can just click right here on this little dude right here, and you can change your screen mode to presentation. And then that will show you kind of what it will look like. And then I think you just hit escape. Because you want to kind of get rid of the bleed. So that, you really want that piece to show up. Okay, so let me zoom her out a little bit. Okay, so create this border, and the idea is that I have these things go together. My suggestion to you is don't do something where you have to use text unless you're going to do, see like in a space right here, where it's not fighting with the text. If I want to put an email address or something on this side, you could, but you just kind of, they have it sort of set up for you to be able to do it on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same kind of thing. I'm going to drag out a box. I'm going to do the same thing on the front side, and I'm going to create that same border. And I'm just going to make it be white, I think. Maybe I have to pull that down and grab that kind of goldy color off that. Okay, so this is my eyedropper. I'm just putting it on top. Be careful that you don't have the other one. Oh,
How did you just do that? I'm sorry.
eyedropper. It's eye on the keyboard.
Oh, no, I mean, but you took the frame, you framed it, sorry, I messed up.
And then I just drag it down so I can get the color off of here.
And then you dropped it. Okay, and you colored it.
Yeah. And I wanted to do that so that I got something that went the same size, so I could kind of keep that border the same on the front and the back.
Mm-hmm.
Space bar to move my hand around. And I'm just going to try to center it right here. Okay. And I can use my align sometimes to align to center. Let's see if they'll let me do it with this. Align this way, align this way. Okay, I can do the same thing here. Align this way, align this way. So now it's centered. That's the cool thing about using programs like this, is that you have tools in here that are going to allow you to align things perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no guessing. You can just do it so it comes out right the first time. Okay, then I'm going to go grab my text. So I think I did client number 1. So I'm going to go get my text. Client 5, and client 1. So I give you like a lot of text. It's like a little text. Okay.
Oh, we can't make it up. They already gave it to us.
Yeah, it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
You've been given your details. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, you just drag out a text box if you want. Just plop it in there. You're gonna plop? No plopping? And you'll notice that it comes in black, meaning that it's already ready to be replaced. Copy. Oops. Okay. Now you see the little box with the plus sign in it. It just means that you have overflow text. So you're missing some of your information. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to put these in different text boxes. It gives me a little bit more control over it. So I'm just going to copy and paste that one out. I'm just going to do Command X instead. And then I'm going to go do one more text box. And I'm going to pull out the phone number. So one of my little things I like to do is if I'm going to center it on a page, I will stretch the text across that whole space and it will center. Otherwise, I'm just going to place.
That's the assessment, right?
This is the assignment. This is part 2 of the assignment.
Oh, part 2? Okay.
What is it you're seeing that's extra here? It sees some extra text in there. I'm not sure it sees. Let me go to type here. Let's see if there's anything else in there. No, I want to click on this. Thanks, though. I'm going to delete. I'm going to backspace. Okay. So it shouldn't yell at me. Okay. So no little red box there. All right, then I'm going to play with my type in my text to figure out what I want things to look like. So here's my phone number. So what I could do that might be fun is I might,
I was thinking of putting it into fade.
yeah, we could play a little bit with opacity. Place. Now the reason why this becomes really valuable to you as well is that if you're keeping it in PSD format, if I made a change in Illustrator and Photoshop to it, it would update it here. So if I go to Window and Links, I do have it open already, I just don't know where it's at. Oh, it's right here. And I made a change to it, it would show up here and let me know that I made a change to it. And I can just click right down here at the bottom to update it. So let's, oh, it's really big again, isn't it? I should have taken the file size down. It made it, oh,
Like
let's do it this way. Let's make a box and let's just see if it'll go inside the box. But we'll do it. It does it in InDesign, but we'll see if we can get it to do it here. No.
No.
Okay, let's try it this way. No. Okay, go back one more time. Let's go to File and Place. That's the cool thing is they changed things on this. So you may have had a way that you did it in the past, but now, yeah, there it goes. You see I drug out a box?
Mm-mm.
So let me do it again. So go to File and Place,
Mm-hmm.
and I drug out choose my file. And you'll see it loaded on my cursor, and I drug out the size I wanted to go, and I filled it.
You can load in Photoshop files in that?
It just did.
Oh, news to me.
So she went, yeah, she went on her, oh,
Okay.
okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this, and I'm just gonna actually have it hanging off the corner over here.
I think, Alan, because it's the same family. It's the same program.
Okay, like
What
it.
is?
So this one I'm actually gonna stretch a little bit, and maybe I'm gonna rotate it. Oh, come on, rotate.
Not rotating.
Because it doesn't want to rotate. Oh, I had my finger on the shift.
There you go.
Do I like that? Let's see.
Don't turn it like that, though.
I can't see it. I can't tell.
Let me turn it back, and then I'm going to play with it for a second, and then I'm going to see if I want to move it back. I'm going to stretch it a little bit because
You only want like some of it, right?
yeah, I'm just going to stretch it because it's not going to be used as a normal image. What were you going to say, hon?
I'm gonna say you could change this. Like you want to rotate it, instead of rotating, you could change the shape, like to make it look like it's.
Well,
You know.
if you're in InDesign, you can play with the frame and totally change the frame. But we're going to
Oh.
do something a little different here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put another shape over the top of this.
Diamond. Do a diamond.
Let me see if I can get this to work. And I'm going to do a gradient. And then
Oh, she giga braining
set my opacity back over here.
transparent, right? Yes.
And then I can play with this a little bit. So
You know, it would be pretty if it would be nice if it was like, again, I'm the guy who totally goes for gradients as well every now and then in Photoshop Illustrator. But I would think like the black would be I was thinking like maybe the black should be on the other side, or sorry, that the transparent one should be like a shade of yellow, I guess.
oh,
And
you
then
want
it
to see
fades to
color?
nothing. Yes. That's what I mean.
So I can click here. Let me see if I can slide the color value in. I'm not sure where I can slide the color value in. Let's try it here. Let's see if I can slide the color value in. Oh, it can't read it because it's not real stuff. Okay, let's go back to Photoshop. Let's grab that color. I have to be careful because I'll sit here and just do this all day long. It's like, did you know that you have a time limit? Oh, I only have 20 minutes left. Well, I'm gonna just go quickly.
Sorry. Again, this is just me. You don't have to fully listen to me. I'm guessing the reason why I wanted so that the blend of the because it's a picture and I wanted kind of to blend in
Sure.
with
You mean blend
Yeah.
into the business card?
the paper. Yes,
Oh.
kind of, because if you leave it alone like that, it cuts it. There's like a cut to it, and I understand where it's coming from, but like you have a lot of space there to do. You have a lot of space for your name, your your email, and then your phone number, but not really much for the picture, and you might as well like blend it in.
Illustrator stuck.
Did you say, ma'am?
No. I don't have to turn it in though. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
We'll give it a second. I'm going to talk to you guys about.
Oh, it's frozen.
We're going to let it sit there for a few minutes because we're going to be going to using Photoshop for the assessment. So let me go hang out in assessment land for a few. And we'll let it sit there and scroll a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, that's April. Hi, April.
Okay. So what I want to do is we're going to take a look at the assessment, and I want to make sure that you guys kind of understand because I thought this part was confusing. So one more thing with this assignment. There's a worksheet here. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to answer the questions here. So you're going to look at the design that you created, and you're going to say, how specifically did I do my elements to make my elements line up together? In our case, we did use some color values that were the same on the front and the back, and we did add some color values to our Photoshop document. So I could talk about that too, right? But this is like grid usage. So we did the thirds, right? Moved our image over so that the center of what we wanted would be in that third category. And then I'm going to say, what did I want to emphasize? So in my case, I wanted to focus on the clearest part of that image. And then also when you guys go to do the rest of your design, what are you doing?
Converting text objects with variable fonts are colored. I cannot see that.
Okay, well, maybe it'll stop here in a second. So you're going to go back here with your text and your font, and you're going to play with this stuff in the character palette. So if it's not open here, if you want to, you can open your properties, and it will show up in your properties. You can also go up here to window and go down to type and choose character or paragraph, and it will come up here, and you get these three right here. Okay? Then you're going to play with your font and make changes to it so that it looks cool. All right?
Oh.
I told it to stop, but it doesn't seem to want to stop. Not sure what it thinks it's doing, but okay.
Restart it.
It's mad now. Okay. So you're going to do this Word doc, and you're going to go through and explain your process. What did you think about? What was your hierarchy? How did you do balance, elements of balance to balance each other out? So we play a lot with color. You would want to maybe do some balance stuff with your type and your text. We created a little bit of continuity by keeping that gold color. There's the rule of thirds. There's the rule of odds. So again, maybe choosing elements, lines, shapes that you guys can add to it. Any of the shapes that we were working with in Illustrator, the circles, the rectangles,
Right.
things like that, you can play with that are going to give you those different elements. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of that requirement. I did want to also show you all in here as the Spark pages. These I've actually given to you guys before, and I can slide it in with the grading, but this is one that I'm trying to remember who created it. It's at the very end. But it was created by another instructor, and she's going through and talking about a lot of the elements like balance. She's talking about things like the transform tool and some blending modes and things like that. So these are some different elements that kind of apply to all of the assignments that you guys have had so far. So I'll try to slide the Spark pages in there for you as well. But some of the transform tools, she explains what they are. The blending modes, she explains what they are. Okay. So.
Wow, that's nice.
You went ahead?
I like that photo you just passed.
The panda?
The beach shot with the
Oh,
smoke
it was on her Spark pages, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for this one. So let me bring back up the PowerPoint. It might take me, I might go a little bit over time, but I at least want to give you guys an idea how this works. What you have in here is a zip file. There are 5 files in here. Let me go ahead and open it from here so you guys can see. Go to week 4, go to assessment. Okay, so you have all these images. When you save and you do stuff, you're gonna put them back in the same file, okay? And then you're gonna ultimately save the whole document. Where it says assessment, you'll save it, the whole thing out. And then you're gonna zip it, because some of the files may be a little bit bigger. The thing that you wanna take a look at, and let's just go ahead and I'm gonna grab image number 2. Now what I did in this PowerPoint is you guys can actually see those are the images that you guys have for each of the designers.
Oh.
And it's actually in order of client 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's your part 2. You need to have at least 3 documents for your assignment. So it's going to be the PSD file from the image that you manipulated, the business card with the 2 artboards for the Illustrator file, and then the last one is this document file explaining your process right here. Okay. Now, the thing I want you guys to think about as we go through the assessment is files. So normally if you're going to send a file to the printer and it's going to be just an image, you want to save it as a TIFF. But TIFFs are really big. So you're going to have to go through each of these and you're going to have to explain what you did. A PDF is another way that you might have it come from a printer. And then the JPEG is normally how it will be found on a web.
Wait, what are we to explain with those file formats? Why?
You're going to have each of these images that you're going to be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that we're going to look at it. And the first thing we want to see is we can see that it's a PSD file. Okay. And I'm going to open up my file here and I'm going to see which one I have this set at. And according to the instructions, this one is going to be print. So you're going to put down what you would want to change down here, and then you're actually going to make the changes in your image. You're going to tell me what you did, and you're going to tell me why, and then you're also going to do it. So the first thing I want to see is if this is going to be on the, this said the web, right? Print. So if I want to print it, what would be the right format to print it in when I go to save it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the right one. Now what I would recommend that you do is either leave it as a PSD or just say
Oh.
JPEG and tell me that you mentioned that you would want to do a TIFF because it's going to make the file really big.
Oh.
The
Wait,
difference,
what?
it's going to make the file huge if you do
So
it.
you save it as a PNG, or so you save it as a JPEG or a PSD.
You
and
guys
then
can just save it, yeah, and then just tell me in the instructions what you would do, or go ahead and just save it as a JPEG and say, I would have saved this out as a TIFF.
contradictory, but you know.
I know. The TIFFs are too big and it blocks things up and makes it hard for people to submit the file. So here's the thing.
So that's,
go ahead.
so I would say, and then export it as a TIFF, right? So you could save it as that, but then you can export it out as something else.
You wouldn't necessarily need, the only time I usually use export is if I don't have the option under save as, or if I need to go through the process to do it. So you'll find out in InDesign that you can't save out as a PDF. You have to export as a PDF.
Okay.
So it does give you some specific options when you save it out. So let me see what options it gives us here. Oh, there's your Tiffy right there.
Oh, okay.
Does it give you PDF? Yeah, PDFs right here.
Okay.
I would export to PDF if I need to, you know, if I need to, but generally you would just save it. But the thing you want to know is if I'm going to be doing prints, the reason that a TIFF is big, when you do a JPEG, it condenses it. And what it does is it loses pixels. It drops some pixels out.
I thought JPEG does that.
That's JPEG. The TIFF does not compress it. It leaves everything clean and all the pixels are there.
Oh, so that's why it's bigger.
Yes.
It's more compact than a JPEG should be.
Yes, because it needs to load fast, like on the web,
Mm-hmm.
for example. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to check for my resolution. So I'm going to go to image. I'm going to go to image size. And this is 300. Is there anything I need to change here as far as the resolution? If it's going to be printed.
72.
That would be if it's going to be on the web, yes?
Oh, it's, yes.
Yes.
70 inches. Wait.
It's pixels by inch.
Pixels per inch. Yeah. So I'm going to leave this at 300 because it's going to be printed, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to change anything. I would go ahead and put that down. And what you guys might do to make it easy on yourself is just answer each of these questions. Let's go to take a look at the color mode. So this is going to be handled on print. So which one do I want to use?
On printed, right?
Print,
then CMYK.
Good. So I would go here and I would change this to CMYK.
And then, yes.
It's just telling you that you're going to have less. Yeah, that's nice. Needs to be CMYK, so shut up. Focus. You know, personally, if you left it to me, I would crop this.
Yes, I would too.
So you guys can crop it, or you can just tell me that you would crop it just to have the dog be the focus. But if we were to look at that and we were to go crop this in.
So we crop it, but you got to say why you cropped it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to kind of give me some reasons behind what you're doing. But that change, oopsie.
Ooh, there it is. That's the thing I was looking for.
The rotation.
The rotation, yes.
So this changes my image, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have all this extra stuff on the outside. If I want this dog to be the center of the focus, I might move that up.
I like that one better.
That so that he's kind of, if I want to do my rule of thirds, I would maybe put him right here.
But you got more space. You got more negative space over there with the trees and everything.
With the rule of thirds, it's supposed to be more pleasing for the eye to see if you lay it right on top of one of the thirds.
I'd advise laying it to the right, I guess, the bottom right.
You would want it down here?
Yes. I don't know. It's just again, to me, it's just more pleasing.
And so it depends a little bit on you. So that, I mean, I'm looking more for your explanation. So light balance, if there's any kind of issue with that, what I could always do is I could come up here to do it an adjustment layer.
Can we make it be nighttime?
I would
like-
actually no. I actually am looking for like how to do that. How to make it nighttime on certain pictures because I'm doing.
Yeah, like
I'm
more
doing,
evening.
Yeah, I'm making it so like I have a little project, a little personal project of mine, and I just really want to know how to make it nighttime pictures.
So it looks like it's pretty good for this, for the brightness.
Increase brightness,
So I really
increase
don't need to do
contrast.
that
I'm
one.
guessing.
Let's go ahead and try another adjustment layer. Layer, new adjustment layer. Let's try, levels are cool, but my suggestion to you with levels is just hit auto.
Boo. No, it's fine. Oh, wait. That looks good. That looks pretty.
So levels are cool because it does kind of kick things in. The only thing I'm noticing is there's a lot of red, so you can switch.
Yeah, a lot of red.
channels.
Tree is red.
You can play with a little bit with the channels in here and kind of pull some things back.
More green.
Does it look pretty?
More green.
Do that on my phone. The phone does that.
So I just did auto on that. It looks like we needed to actually crop that out so we can get rid of that weird wonky
Tree.
thing right there. It looks
Yeah.
weird.
It's
Blurry
disturbing. Disturbing.
Is there anything else that we feel like we need to adjust?
Um.
But first, take care of color. I would do hue and saturation if I felt like I needed to make a change in the color. Color balance.
Color balance.
So we can try that and just try the auto. Does it give me an auto? No. Okay. So let's go ahead and move a little bit more away from the red.
Oh, you can mess with the midtones as well. The tones at the top.
Yes, you can. So we're taking a little bit more of the red out.
There's more brightness. Yes.
So what I like to do after I've made the adjustments is I'll turn the layers on and off and see if I actually made a difference to them. Did it actually make a difference? Not really. Did this one make a
No.
difference? That one did.
That one did, yeah.
Did this one make a difference? Nope. If it doesn't make a difference, I can always get
Delete
rid
it.
of it. Now, if you were really going to be dealing with these images, what you could always do, and I would say always keep a background, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe duplicate your background down here, and then you could, don't do it for this assignment because I need to see what you did. But if you needed to and you're going to use it someplace else, then you could always merge it. So you can click on this and merge it if you needed to. Otherwise, just do the JPEG and it will flatten it anyway. But if you flatten it, then you lose your layers. So you can come right here and you can merge or flatten. Merge layers, merge visible.
We don't
merge visible. I left that bottom layer off on purpose so I could just merge visible in order to create that. All right. So your job on each one of those is to go to the sheet and explain why you did what you did. What changes did you make to the image? So I would suggest, I think the easiest thing for you guys to do is to use my cheat sheet right here and just answer these questions. Okie doke.
Okie doke.
Okay, I think I got the big stuff I wanted to cover with you guys. And then there's the images that you guys have. There's the 5 that you're going to be working with.
I like that.
Which one? The flouter?
The sky. I like skies.
Oh, this one with the building?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Skies, both inspiration for me.
Gotcha. And I don't look at these other ones. I don't see like a big, huge need to crop the other ones. This one just needed to be cropped.
Maybe maybe a bit brightness on the computer, a bit more brightness on the computer, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so you might take a look at that one and see what you want to do with that for sure. I'm just not seeing the need to crop because this was the one that had like all this extra stuff. It needed focus. This one's definitely focused right here. This one's very focused. And then you're going to download the folder. You're going to open each file individually. You're going to read the intended use. So is it going to be for print or is it going to be for web? You're going to basically give the reason why you did everything. You're going to update it based on the expected use. Update the image. change the name of the larger folder, and zip it to submit it. Zip it and submit it. Zip it. All right. Any other questions? You feeling good? You feel like you understand what you're going to be doing here?
I kind of did, but
Kind of, sort of.
Okay, where are you foggy?
so we do the document first?
No, but you could. I mean, I don't think it matters. I mean, the idea is I'm going to look at the image, know which one it's supposed to be. I would do those categories that I gave you on the.
Well, you have to make it like, you have to make the type clean, because I just explain it like I'm explaining it how I did it.
Yeah, I would probably look at these things. I would use it like a checklist. What is the file format correct for what they
No,
want for?
Uh,
The
but
resolution correct.
but like I was saying like what if we did this the way we're typing it in the documents? Does it have to be like pretty formal, or is it like just whenever
What
you
do you mean
can?
in the discussion? The
I
way we talk.
like to have full sentences, and I
um,
wouldn't mind a little detail.
I do mind like it's like a small little check mark.
Yeah, I want a little stuff.
Mm.
Give me a little. Yeah, give me enough so I understand, and you need to give me complete sentences so I don't have to try to figure out what you're saying.
Huh? Like can you go back to the slide with the chain? Oh, there it is. Right, you're in there already. So like I'm doing this as like a print, for a website, I guess. So it's gonna be put on web 72 PPI, the color mode.
What you're
Color
given right
mode.
here.
Yeah,
That's what you're given. So you need to go below it and type your comments.
yeah. But I type it like how it should be, like JPEG, enter 72, enter. Color mode I do like a little bit, like
That's
I
not,
explained just a
not a
bit.
sentence.
it has to be longer.
I like sentences.
Mm.
Give me sentences, Ellen.
I will. I'll follow again. That's how I structure things.
I understand. And I'm your boss. I'm the client.
And the client,
that's
yeah,
fine.
give her what she wants.
The client wants you to have things in full sentences because she's the one grading you.
Mm-hmm.
Will do.
Oh my goodness.
No grumbling allowed.
Can we ask questions on our comments? Hi.
Ask questions on your comments?
I was just okay.
You're supposed to know the answers, man.
I know.
I feel like my questions would be like, I did it this way. Is there an easier way to do it?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Tanya. I mean, Keisha, sorry.
I think if you're just thinking it through, I think that's the idea, right? And I just kind of want to see a little bit of your thought process. And I'm saying if you're answering these questions right here, if you need to make an adjustment layer, adjustment layer isn't really a question. I guess unless you need to make some kind of adjustment on it because you're looking at the image and it looks weird, looks too red or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie.
So okay, I have another question. So you said we should answer it as we go, the questions, like as we're creating
that's
it?
totally up to you.
Oh, okay.
Whatever works for you. I would just probably do each one and finish the one and put it back all in the folder and then do the next one. I wouldn't do all the images and then go back and try to remember what you did. That would be my only.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's the only thing I could say that would, as far as order goes, that I would recommend one over another.
Mm-hmm. And are we not okay? I didn't look at the assignment, but are we do the image, everything separately, right? We don't put it within the.
You mean as far as how you save it, or?
Yeah, this is questions, and then everything is separately done, right?
My
And
impression
then
from what they said in the instructions is that you just put it back in here again.
Oh, okay, inside of okay.
Yeah.
And then zip it up.
Yeah. And you name it whatever they told you to name it.
All right.
And then you'll zip the whole thing back up and name that whole thing. you'll put it all in a file, and you'll name what you're supposed to name. You go to File and Compress Data, and then, or compress, whatever it says, and then it should, if you've already named the folder, then you should be good with the naming anyway.
I think they're wanting us to do it like we did like week 1.
With the compression, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can only show you how to do it on a PC, so I can't show you how to do it on Mac, but I just, so if you guys go to, when you're in your folder, if you go to File, you should have the option to compress. And then just make sure you're on the folder that you want to compress.
Right.
So save it all in the same file folder and then just rename it.
Right. Okay.
Other questions? You feeling okay with what we've got going on here?
Somebody's missing.
Yeah, we had some drop off.
Oh.
I feel like I'm gonna need to get started on this now so that I'm not like working on it like I was my week 3 assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
I don't know what's going on.
So tomorrow night.
And beeping at me, and I'm like, what do you want from me?
I'm just trying to make a stupid adjustment later. A mask, coming mask. That's all I want. Yeah, so I'll be in tomorrow, 3 to 5 Mountain Time, doing the multi-session. So I'll try to send you guys out the link. It is a little bit different one. If you guys go to.
Yeah, you said someone else had all the information. I saw Warp and
Oh, the Spark pages.
Remind me.
no, yeah, you were demonstrating something. You said you're gonna send it to us, or
Yeah. So that's the Spark pages, and I'll be happy to send this too. Yeah. So if you guys need to get to the multi-session, you guys can go here to the live sessions, and then if you click right here, it's going to tell you all of the sessions. So you can click here. And wait. Oh.
That's what it tells me every time I try to click on
link.
Yeah.
I tried it. I got to only where it said it has to be open in another browser and asked me if I wanted to share or whatever. I said no.
View. So
then it says, "Hi, Delandra, welcome." Send me email, but I don't. You know.
Okay, I'll send an email to Shannon, and Shannon can look into this one for us and figure out why it's not working.
But it forced me to join link.
For me.
But I'll send you the guys the link anyway. It's like
I think I had to create an account or something.
Yeah, that's what it's trying to make me do. Yeah, same thing.
For this? No,
For
LinkedIn. Oh, LinkedIn. Yeah, I know. I have to send that to Sean. But this one's different. This is the multi-session. Do you guys have trouble when you click on the multi-session?
I haven't tried.
Me neither.
Try clicking on it for me. If somebody has their computer open.
Let's see. Let's try to click on there. See what's going on here.
And then you guys can come and go to anybody's multi-session. So it's all teachers that are in the multi-sessions.
No, it let me in.
Let you in? I'm gonna try it. Yep, let me in too.
Okay, so maybe I'm just because I'm in student mode, it's not letting me in. Actually, let me leave student.
I got a message from Sherry Hartz.
You did? What did I say?
Hello.
The live session starting now.
So if you guys go to the calendar, then down here at the bottom, there's the link. And then there's the schedule. So if I'm not available, there's me, but there's somebody that comes in after me. And there's people there on Wednesday. And so you guys can go in any of those times.
And where do I find the Spark page? I found it one time and I can't remember exactly where I found it.
I will attach it to the download for you guys.
Okay.
It's right here. Actually, let me stick it into the chat for you.
Oh.
The panda.
It's Poe.
I just gave it to the chat, and then I'll also see if I can slide it in with the recording. I was like, oh, did I record it? I was like, oh my God, what if I didn't record it? I've done that before, by the way.
How could not
Then I had to go back and record a whole 2-hour lecture again. That was awesome. Not. Okay,
No.
not. Yeah, so she's got some good information here, just general design stuff, and here's some of the tools, and here's how they work, and some little screenshots, some videos are in there. This one is from Laura. Yeah, Laura.
Oh, Lord.
I worked with Laura a couple months ago. Okie dokie.
Okay.
All right, you guys have a good night, okay?
Thank you.
Hey.
And if anybody, I want company
Bye-bye.
tomorrow. If someone wants to come hang out with me. It's lonely. It's lonely talking to myself, and there's no one there.
Tomorrow?
Probably be there.
I'll be there too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
come
what's
in.
with what's up with tomorrow?
I do the multi-session,
Oh,
and basically
Like-
I'm sitting there waiting for someone to come in. If no one comes in, then I have to call students and email them.
I just have to
Ah.
remember that it's like 5 my time.
We gotta put it out there. Everyone come and join, and we're promoting our Sunday Fun Day. Sunday. Sunday.
what time?
It's our
Same
last
time,
week.
I'm
I can
guessing.
stay an hour later for you, Alan.
It's on what time? I don't work tomorrow.
No, it's Sunday Fun Day. Tomorrow is from 3 to 5
Sunday
p.m.
Fun
Mountain.
Sunday. Tomorrow.
Mountain, so that means 2 or 4 p.m. my time,
Are you Central?
Central.
So if I am 3 to 5, you're 4 to 6.
Cool.
And I'm
I'll be-
5 to
I'll,
7.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. And then I will, yeah, and then you guys come in with whatever questions you have on anything. It doesn't matter what it is, anything we've done this mod. And I'll help you. And then we also have Sunday Fun Day. I will do probably from 1 to 4 if Alan needs me to stay longer. Mountain time. So he can come Sunday Fun Day. Depends on if people come in. If no one comes in, then I won't. If it's Sunday not Fun Day, then I don't want to play.
And you said that Sunday Fun Day was 1 to 4 Mountain Time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that way, and this one might have a few more people in it because people are doing the freak out thing at the end of the mod.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have joined the Sunday Fun Day like this last go round, but it told me that it was like waiting for you to start the session. I don't really know what I did. It was probably
Just
the wrong
email me if it does something like that, and I'll see what I can figure out because it shouldn't do that. I purposely took the passwords and extra things off of this to make it easy for you guys to get in. So you should be good to go. Alrighty.
Are we still recording?
You what, honey?
Are
We
still
are.
recording?
We are.
Oh.
They're still hanging about Sunday Fun Day. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop recording now.
Okay.